Hearing the news that NIL deals was going to help collegiate student athletes be compensated for their name, image, and likeness had smiles on everybody's faces. They couldn't wait for the opportunity of when July 1st hit, that they were going to now be able to be compensated for their good deeds that they were able to do out there on the field of play. Well, guess what? Now things are getting ready to make a slight little turn because the NCAA is feeling some kind of way. But guess who warned you ahead of time? Yeah, none other than Coach Prime. We're going to go ahead and get into it right after this. It's your favorite coach back at it again. 10 toes down, about to tell you how it all went down. This is Tomorrow Leader Sports Network with your host, Coach Walker. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you get all upcoming videos. For all my leaders out there, welcome back. Y'all know the drill. Y'all know the routine. If you haven't done so already, please like, comment, and share these videos. And tap in a friend or two and tell them to come on in. It's nothing but positive vibes. We just having a good time talking about HBCU sports. And also, you can follow us on all social media platforms. The links are listed down below in the description. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and tap on in this thing and get straight to it. Because guess what? Many people, I'm sure, out there talking about what Coach Prime had to say in his short that he put out yesterday, talking about the NCAA having a problem as far as with these young men making money as if they're being paid like professionals. Well, guess what? He's absolutely correct. And as of right now, over the past couple of days, the NCAA has been trying to put some guidelines in place in which they're now trying to make sure they try to reel everybody back in and get a true understanding of what's going on. But one thing that they fail to understand is when they had the opportunity to kind of lay down the law as far as how the NIL was going to go, they refused to do it. They wanted to put it into the hands of the state, each state, allowing them to make their own laws and rules when it came to players being, compensated for their name, image, and likeness. And now, guess what? We have a serious problem. Again, we saw the video where Coach Prime was alerting the NCAA that they have a problem on their hands. Check this out.
You got a problem. See, when you start paying athletes like they're professionals, you get athletes acting like they're professionals. And you don't have staffs large enough and equipped enough to handle a young man with money. Let me go deeper. Handle a young man that's making more money than some of the coaches on staff. You got a real problem. So I suggest to you to allow college teams to hire more qualified men, that could handle these young men that's getting this money.
Now, needing more qualified men and women on the campuses are just a start, in my opinion, because what we may see in the coming months, years, as well as days, is that these athletes may get to the point to where they might want to sue the NCAA because they feel that they're being infringed upon on their limitations of being compensated. What I'm saying is that with these new guidelines that they're trying to put in place, listen, the NCAA they're slick. I'm gonna say that for the most part. They know daggone well exactly what's going on here, and they knew what to expect. NCAA is sitting back watching the game being played because they already know that universities are going to purge kids from programs to come play for their own, using their boosters as well as they stated, collectives. That's right. Businesses that's being put together by boosters, they're calling them collectives. They're offering the deals. And a lot of these deals are being offered by boosters as well as collectives that are known as NIL-based companies that will try to reach out to players with some type of compensation for them to come play for that university. Now, in every story, there's a beginning, middle, and end. And right now, we're in the genesis, which is the beginning, because the NIL push is just getting started. Because they know athletes are going to get angry and upset because they are not being paid what they feel they should be monetarily owed. What I mean by that is that some players out there are going to feel that their NIL deals aren't big enough. They feel that they should be paid, they should be compensated more than what they're being currently compensated, or they feel that they've outgrown that contract, which we've seen in the NFL as well as the NBA, where players wanted their contracts renegotiated because they felt like they outplayed that contract, in which kind of we saw that happen down at the University of Miami with the basketball player that felt that his deal needed to be increased, in which they increased it and gave him a car, allegedly. I'm just saying. But one thing you got to understand is this. When the athletes get upset and angry with these companies because they're not compensating them accordingly or they're not being compensated at all, you already know lawsuits going to come. And who are the lawsuits going to go to? NCAA. They might try and hit they might try and hit the company itself that they had the NIL deal with. Yeah, sure. But who's the bigger fish in this? The NCAA. So you already know the NCAA is trying to wash their hands of this thing here because they ain't trying to get hit in the heads where they got a whole bunch of, lawsuits coming across their table. Dan Murphy, who is an ESPN staff writer, he put out an article talking about, the guidelines, these guidelines that the NCAA is putting out that were created by the director and conference commissioners. See, guys, once again, as I stated before, nothing moves unless you get those signatures by everybody to say, this is what we're going to do. You have your commissioners as well as your athletic directors. Everybody works hand in hand with all of this stuff. And stated in the beginning of what's to come, there are laws in several states that protect athletes from accepting money from third parties, which is the collectives that's out there with these NIL deals. And I don't think the NCAA really thought it through when they decided to allow the states to put the laws in place, because guess what? The states are going to put things in place that's going to be beneficial for the athletes when it comes to them accepting this money. And here we are once again looking at this thing down the barrel as far as with how we're going to move next. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to be some problems. There's going to be bigger challenge. There's going to be bigger trials and tribulations to go along with those challenges, because the NCAA didn't really want their hands on this. But now that it's here and they're getting all the complaints from a lot of the different universities concerning players being purged from their programs, as well as players wanting more financially to be compensated when it comes to these NIL deals, you get ready to see a big influx of problems that's going on here. And guess what? We're going to be right back where we started once again, because collectively, we're not using this up here when it comes down to the direction that we need to go when it comes to this conversation with everyone that's involved. Again, this whole conversation leads back to what Coach Prime said in that short. The NCAA definitely got a problem on their hands, because if you don't get those additional people hired into the universities to make sure that the I's and T's are dotted and crossed and things are moving in the direction that they're moving, you're about to see a lot of lawsuits flying around out here where people are going to be getting hit in the head when it comes to them not following the guidelines as specified, or better yet, throw this one out there for you. The NCAA is looking to go back 10 months to see what's going on with some of these offers that's been put out there to players. So that's how murky the game is. Everybody got an end game. Everybody see how much sports is worth on all platforms. Everybody want their hand in that cookie jar. Sometimes you got to make sure you're able to put your hand in, grab, and go. Sometimes we get a little too greedy, have our hand in that thing a little too long, and that top get closed over that hand. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen here. But again, I'm just gonna sit back and watch this unravel, because this is gonna be very interesting in the coming months as well as years when it comes to this these NIL deals. But guys, I ain't gonna hold you no longer. Remember, be the one and lead.